Okay, in this problem, we're given the average price in a certain year. It was $99.01. Assume the population standard deviation is $20 and a random sample of 45 hotels were selected. First, it wants us to calculate the standard error of the mean. Well, first of all, we have to figure out if we're given all the information we need. We have the standard deviation for the population, and we have the sample size, so we are able to calculate the standard error of the mean. So let's do that first. So the standard error of the mean is the population standard deviation divided by the square root of n. So that's our formula, and if we plug in, we know the population standard deviation is $20, and then we know the sample size is 45. And if you look at the view an example, well, actually, even in the instructions, it says to round to the nearest cent, or to round to 2 decimal places. So that's your standard error of the mean. And for the second part, it says, what is the probability that the sample mean will be less than 101? So what we're going to do is, we're going to do the probability that x is less than 101. So we have to do, if Rn, our sample size, is greater than or equal to 30, then this is very important. The sample mean will follow a normal probability distribution. So that means since our sample is 45, we can say that our mean of our samples will be equal the population mean, which means that we know the mean for our sample is the same as a population mean, which is $99.01. So we can find the z-score, and we take the sample mean minus the mean of the samples divided by the standard deviation. So, divided by the standard error of the mean. So we know that our mean that we're looking at is 101 minus 99.01 divided by our standard error, which we found in the first part, which is 298. And we're rounding to the second decimal place. So we want to know we want to know the z-score, the probability that x is less than 101, or the probability that z is less than 0.67. So the way that we do that is we go into Excel, and you can see I've been doing these. You can go anywhere. So you're going to go equal norm S, which means standard, dot disk, and we said the z-score was 0.67, and we want it to be cumulative, so we're going to put true. So the probability that z is less than 0.67 is 0.7486. We want to round to the 4th decimal place for our answer. So 0.7486. So when you're putting in the z-score, you're rounding to the 2nd decimal place. When you get the probability, you're rounding to the 4th decimal place. For part C, the probability that it will be more than 104, we're still going to do the same thing. We're going to do a z-score. I'm going to erase this and just use this again. But But this time we want x to be greater than, or the mean to be greater than 104. So our z score is 104 minus 9901 divided by our 298, and you're going to get 167, and we want the probability that x is greater than 104, or the same thing would be the probability that our z is greater than 1.67. So we're going to go back into Excel, and we're going to do the same thing, equal norms, not snorm, norm s dot dist, or norm s dist, there is no dot, and our z value was 1.67, and we want it to be true. Let's see what I did. Let's start over. Equals norm okay, norm dot s, so there is a dot. I thought it was norm dot s dot dist. Okay, 1.67, and we want it to be true. This is 0.95254 or 0.9525, but what we have to remember is that's the probability. If we had the mean here, 104 would be over here somewhere, because the mean is 9901, or 0 or 1.67. So our probability we just got was less than 104. Remember, when we look it up on the table, it's always the less than side. So if we want the greater than side, we have to do 1 minus 0.9525. So 1 minus 0.9525 would be 0.0475. So remember, you have to do 1 minus 0.9525 to get 0.0475. Now, the last part to this problem is when you're doing in between 98 and 99. Remember, when we're finding the probability in between, we find the probability of both of these, and we take the largest probability and subtract out the smallest. So let's do our z-score, and this time we're going to have 2 z-scores to work with, because we want the probability that x is in between 98 and 99. So we're going to do 98 minus 99.01 divided by 298, and we're going to do 99 minus 99.01 divided by 298. And so over here you're going to get negative 0.34, and over here, which is kind of may seem strange, you're going to get really it's greater than 0.00, but we're rounding. So we're going to do, here is 0, and then here is negative 0.34, and over here is 0.00, negative 0.003 something, and we're trying to find the probability in between here. So the first number we're going to look up is going to give us the probability, up to here. So let's see what that number is. Let's do it right here. Equals norm Okay, so negative 0.34 true. That's going to give us okay, yeah. That's going to give us 0.36, and we're going to go ahead and round this. I believe that's what I did, is rounded it to 4 decimal places. So that's going to give us 0.3669. So 0.3669 is the probability from here to here. Now we're going to look up another probability, and it's going to give us all this yellow up to this blue. So if we want to get the in-between, we're going to take this probability we're about to calculate and subtract out the yellow part, the 0.3699. So let's look up 0.00. Norm. So 0, you can just put 0, true, and that would be 0.5. Because we're rounding, and remember 0, the mean is 0 as a z-score, and the mean is halfway in the middle. So it's halfway, that's why it's 0.5. So, and technically it's not really at 0, but because of rounding, that's kind of what we end up with. So basically from here all the way to here is 0.5. So let's subtract out the yellow, which is the 0.3699, and that would leave us with what was in between. So we're going to do 0.5 minus 0.3699. And let me do that real quick in the calculator. 0.1301. Let me make sure that's what we got. We got 0.1331. So let me look at it and make sure that I wrote the right numbers down. 0.3669. Well, that would be the error. 0.3669. So 0.5 minus 0.3669, and that would be 0.1331. So remember, when you're trying to find the probability in between, you take the probability of the largest and subtract out the probability of the smallest, and that will give you the probability in between. Let me know if you have any questions.